As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Breaking news, Arnold Schwarzenegger just crushed Trump harder than he crushed skulls in Terminator. The former Mr. Universe is flexing his political muscles, and Trump's looking like he skipped leg day, and arm day, and truth day. But here's the kicker. Arnie's not just throwing punches, he's dropping truth bombs that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Want to see Trump get Schwarzenegger'd? Stick around for the political smackdown of the century. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Do you remember Arnold portraying himself as a powerful action hero? Oh people, those days are a long time ago.
And they hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
Arnold, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV, because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again. So being from Europe, I've seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here.
After Trump traded in his leather jacket for a political blazer, our favorite Austrian oak is using his biceps to poke holes in Trump's ego. Donald Trump is wearing a political blazer. What a difference it makes to switch careers. When Arnold went from being the Terminator to becoming the Trump Terminator, it was not exactly a smooth ride for him. After demonstrating his acting skills on screen, he quickly moved on to demonstrating his political acumen in the role of governor of California. However, if we are being completely honest, governing is a more complicated process than simply saying I'll be back and completely destroying everything. Arnold was forced to learn the hard way that politics is a completely different genre of action film. He arrived at this realization through his own personal experience. Now comes the most exciting part. Arnold and Trump were once among Trump's friends. Actually, you did hear it correctly. You could compare orange peas to two peas in a pod if they had hair that was ridiculous. On the other hand, something changed. At the gym, it is possible that Trump did not recognize Arnold, or that he took Arnold's favorite Make America Lift Again tank top and never returned it. Both of these possibilities are possible.
The only thing is that we don't have to go under completely. We don't have to wait for that moment. Let's change and let's go and be more open and go back to this kind of like a big tent idea of Ronald Reagan. And I think this is why we have helped it to some extent here in California with getting rid of gerrymandering and to do redistricting reform and to have open primaries.
Independents are about to overtake Republicans in California. What can California do differently?
I think independents are going to take over the Republicans, they're going to take over the Democrats also.
Whatever the case may be, their relationship deteriorated more rapidly than milk that was left out in the California sun. The passage of time brought about a shift in Arnold's political beliefs. Experiencing the development of a conscience in the Terminator in real time was similar to that. Following his time as a Republican governor, he transitioned into an anti-Trump activist community. What an unexpected turn of events. Arnold appeared to be saying, your moral compass, your boots, and your clothes, after casting a glance in the direction of the Republican convention. Hand them over to me. However, the riot that occurred in the Capitol was the real turning point. Following the realization of what was taking place, Arnold most likely wished that he could go back in time and put a stop to it, in the style of the Terminator. He decided to take a stand and say, "Hasta la vista, Trump," instead of doing anything else.
You famously said that the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. I heard you equate the GOP with the Titanic. Explain.
The reason why I said it was because their policies were such that they were not really including everybody. And we were losing them because we were not addressing those issues. So I was telling them, I said, look, the way you're going, being so anti, healthcare reform and being so anti-environment and stuff like this, we are losing and we are dying at the box office.
Not only were people waiting for Arnold's response, but they were also waiting for Trump's tower. At 3 in the morning, people were updating their social media accounts at a rate that was superior to the speed at which President Trump could press the send button on a tweet. Then, bam, the video bomb was dropped by Arnold when he made the comparison between the riot at the Capitol and Kristallnacht. On the surface, it appeared as though he had fired a verbal shotgun at Trump's alternative facts. Not even a fake tan could compare to the speed with which Arnold's video went viral at a MAGA rally. Even more than a video of a cat, it went viral during the pandemic that was going on. Arnold, the political action hero, was suddenly the center of attention as he exposed the lies and defended democracy throughout the entire process. In spite of the fact that the stakes were significantly higher than in any Hollywood production, it was very much like watching a real-life movie unfold. It would appear that Arnold is not only displaying his physical prowess, but also his political views in this day and age. Because of the most recent viral video of the Terminator, which packs more heat than his old rocket launcher, Trump's team is writhing like a group of villains battling Dutch and Predator. This is because the video is more powerful than his rocket launcher. Where does Arnie get his energy from? From the looks of things, the Austrian oak harbors a personal grudge against the lies and propaganda of the Nazi regime. In his video, he exposes the fact that his father had an affiliation with the Nazi party, and I have to say that it is not a pretty picture. When Arnold says, "I know where such lies lead, and I'm not going to let that happen again," he is not holding back in his assessment of the situation. A shocking turn of events. Who would have thought that the individual who once exclaimed, "It's not a tumor," would eventually become the person responsible for detecting tumors in the United States? When it was raining, this video went viral even faster than Trump's spray tan did back in the day. A parallel can be drawn between this and the transformation of the T-1000 into a political analyst and its subsequent dissemination across all social media channels. Everyone, including their grandmother, began to spread Arnold's message all of a sudden. This was most likely due to the fact that it was more powerful than a joke that Arnold Schwarzenegger would have said. That was not something that Trump was going to ignore, however. Arnold's ratings on Celebrity Apprentice prompted the Donald to respond with some zingers. To be honest, Donald, the same thing would happen if you brought a spoon to a fight with a knife. There is something almost endearing about Trump's belief that television ratings are more important than democracy. The internet was experiencing explosive growth at the same time. On the other hand, memes and GIFs of Arnold's movie quotes were outpacing Trump's lies that he was telling during a press conference. It is highly likely that the phrases "I'll be back," "to save America," and "hasta la vista democracy" were trending more than the hashtag Teichkampf ever did. This entire situation has degenerated into an endless political arm wrestling match, with democracy serving as the prize. The experience is comparable to watching Conan the Barbarian engage in combat with a raging Cheeto. Who will emerge victorious? However, this is contingent upon whether the United States of America desires its heroes to be action stars with muscular bodies, or reality TV hosts with hair that is questionable. People, it would appear that other celebrities are also demonstrating their political savvy in this day and age. As a direct consequence of the Trumpinator versus Schwarzenegger fight, an increasing number of celebrities are entering the realm of politics. Who would have thought that Hollywood was secretly training a military force of people who defended democratic principles? As far as analysts are concerned, these celebrity interventions are comparable to steroids for public opinion. Discussions about politics are taking place at a rate that is faster than you can say, "I'll be back." However, here's the most important question. Should we expect to see a whole bunch of famous people bench pressing democracy? Or is Arnold the only one who has biceps that are big enough to arm wrestle political figures? When it comes to this Arnold versus Trump battle, there is no doubt that we are all sitting back, munching on popcorn and looking forward to the next unpredictable turn of events. Do you think there will be a happy ending for democracy, or do you think we are going to see a disaster movie based on actual events? Watch out, United States of America.